All right, 3 Americans are mysteriously found dead at a Mexico City Airbnb. That's the headline that's been all over the news this past week. Now, what happened to them? How did they die? Could this same fate await you if you travel to Mexico City? Let's dig into the facts of the case. So the story is that these 3 friends, Jordan Marshall, 28, Cortez Hall, 33, and Candace Florence, also 28, went down to Mexico City to take part in the Dia de los Muertos celebration. One of the people, Candace, was on the phone, I should say, with her boyfriend back in the United States, and the line suddenly went dead. After not being able to reconnect with her, he waited a while, and eventually he or another family member reached out to the Airbnb host, and they did a wellness check where, unfortunately, they found all 3 dead in the home, which was in the La Rosita neighborhood. Okay, so that's the basic story as it was originally splashed all across the headlines. It makes for a very tantalizing story, doesn't it? You have these young, attractive Americans in a foreign and sometimes seemingly dangerous location. You have the intrigue of a dropped call, and you have the mysterious and tragic discovery of their dead bodies. But what actually happened? Was this cartel activity? Were these 3 people innocent victims of some sort of narco war? Were they possibly involved in something nefarious? And I'm framing it that way because I think these are the sort of questions that were conjured up by this headline, probably purposefully. I'll leave some doubt there, but I think you understand where I'm going with that. However, I'm afraid the story is far less intriguing, but it is absolutely no less tragic. And it does have some very valuable lessons about travel that I hope that we can learn from these poor people's unfortunate experience. So these 3 friends decided to take the trip to Mexico City to be part of the Day of the Dead festivities. Now, that's a very popular and fun thing to do in Mexico. And they were no doubt looking forward to an exciting time, one of the world's great cities. Mexico City is a fantastic city. I can't wait to go back. They checked into their Airbnb, and at some point, investigators believe that one of the friends decided to take a shower, which kicked on the building's gas boiler, for the hot water. That boiler unfortunately malfunctioned, and it released dangerous and ultimately deadly carbon monoxide into the unit that they were staying in. When Florence was talking to her boyfriend, she was already feeling the effects of the carbon monoxide, and she complained of feeling bad both emotionally and physically. She had said she just didn't feel well, and she just really wasn't up to it. What she didn't realize at the time is that carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, so she had no idea what was going on. There's probably no way she would have figured it out unless she had had some experience or had learned about it and it happened to come to the front of her mind. But here's one of the problems. The most common symptoms of CO poisoning are things like headache, dizziness, weakness, nausea, which I think is one of the things she mentioned, vomiting, chest pain, and confusion. So that's one of the ones that gets you. People find that they are in that situation, they start to feel the effects, they can't quite figure it out. The confusion muddles their brain to the point that they can't really logically work through the steps, and unfortunately they don't go seek help because they just can't figure it out. It's like a brain fog. According to the CDC, around 430 people a year die here in the United States from this very same thing, and almost 50,000 people go to the emergency room. Think about that. 50,000 people a year go to the emergency room for this exact same thing. I was actually just watching the Weird Al bio movie that's out now. It's very popular. And I was watching an interview with him later. He lost both of his parents to this same thing. They were in their 80s, I remember, and they had lit a fire in their fireplace and they forgot to open the flue, and basically the gas filled the house, but they didn't know it. They fell asleep and never awoke. So various activities like that, like lighting a fire from wood or charcoal, furnaces, lanterns, gas ranges, all these things can create the gas in the home, and if not properly vented, will absolutely kill you, your pets, any living thing in the home. So did the fact that they were in Mexico City have anything to do with this? No, it had absolutely nothing to do with it. Why this was a headline with Mexico City Again, I'll let you figure that out. You come to your own conclusions. However, it does bring up some questions about staying in an Airbnb, a bed and breakfast, a hotel, anywhere really. According to Airbnb, now they've jumped on this because their name is all over this, they strongly urge hosts to install carbon monoxide detectors in their residence, and they offer free detectors. Now, it doesn't sound like they enforce that, but they urge them. So, however, safety standards are not going to be the same from location to location. Each host or each hotel is not going to have the same everywhere you go in the United States or the world. It's going to be a little bit different. So if you want to be on the safe side, you can buy a portable carbon monoxide detector. It's $20 to $40, give or take, on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. Take it with you. It just plugs in. It's very small. You can buy as many as you want. Plug them into all the outlets. And this leads me to my main point. Don't assume that the place you are staying has taken all the security precautions that you would in your home. Now, I'm not picking on Airbnb here. I stay in Airbnbs all over the world. People are killed and injured right here in the U.S., across the world as well, by staying in hotels and other establishments. This just happens to be an Airbnb related story. But ask the location that you're going to. Do they have smoke alarms? Do they have carbon monoxide detectors? Do they have fire extinguishers? Do they have deadbolts on the door or an alarm system? These are simple things you may have, they may not, and you don't want to find out when it's too late. When you get there, familiarize yourself with the exits from the unit itself. Is there a front door and a back door? Are there windows? How high up are you? How do you get out of the building? If there's an elevator, but where are the stairs? Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, Mike, this is bringing me down, man. I want to go have a good time, and I don't want to be having a negative vibe on my trip. Take 5 minutes. It will take you that long. Check this off on your list and just come out safely on the other end. Another tip that came into play on this story specifically is tell someone back home where you're staying and give them the name and the number to your host or your hotel and establish some level of routine check-in. Maybe just a quick text every night before you're going to bed. Just, hey, I'm back at the hotel. I'm going to watch some TV. I'm going to go to sleep. Or I've just come back from dinner. I'm going to lay down for the evening. I'll talk to you in the morning. Tell that person if they haven't heard from you by X, maybe that's the next morning, or they haven't heard from you by 9 o'clock at night, whatever the case may be, that they are then to call you. And if they don't reach you within X period of time, or you don't call back within X period of time, they are to call that host, or call the hotel, or call the police, whatever you establish. These are very simple steps to make sure that your trip is exciting and full of good memories. And again, it doesn't matter if you're going across the state or across the world. The point is, don't be afraid to travel. Take some precautions, of course, but don't let misleading headlines scare you away from travel. Travel is one of the most fulfilling things you can ever do, and Mexico in particular is a beautiful country just waiting for you to come and explore it. And in fact, if you'd like to know more about traveling in Mexico, why don't you check out some of the videos here in our Mexico playlist, or this video specifically where we talk about our recent trip to Mexico City. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So in the meantime, until we talk again, keep on trekking.